All right, guys, so I'm just cruising. Bought some roses for my mama. It is her birthday. And I decided to do a little chat in the car with you guys about something I've been thinking about a lot lately. It's, what I've learned since becoming a full-time YouTuber. And I make a lot of videos on this channel about how to do YouTube, tips, tricks, how to record videos, all that fun stuff. But I've never really kind of given the, one-on-one, person-to-person, like as if you were like at home, sitting with me in my hot tub, having a cigar, chatting with me, view of what it's like since I became a full-time YouTuber. Because I think it's a pretty big question that a lot of people have, right? Or not even that a lot of people have, that you should know, right? Like I have so many friends who are interested in doing YouTube, and I know so many people, and nowadays, like, there's some crazy stat, like 20 or 30% of kids in school, like when they're polled, they're like, oh yeah, being a YouTuber is a career option that they're striving towards or aspiring towards. So I think it would be pretty interesting to kind of share my point of view. So in short, and I'll go into this in greater detail, it's been great. I love doing YouTube. I've been full-time it's like November 4th or 3rd right now. I've been doing YouTube for almost 1 year full-time. So I quit my job in January of 2023, January 18th to be exact. Before YouTube and during YouTube, when I started, for those of you who don't know, I was in tech. So I did tech sales, I was an account executive, I had managed sales teams, sold a whole bunch of different types of software to a whole bunch of different types of companies all around the world. And I love that career. I made a lot of money. It's kind of like, it was the only career a guy like me who really sucked at school and was a little bit of a troublemaker growing up, it was like the only thing I could do, and it fit me perfectly, right? Talk to people, build relationships, make money doing it. What could be better, right? But there came a point for me where I was feeling a little unfulfilled. It was kind of like wash, rinse, and repeat. Didn't really like what I started to get bored of it, like the monotony of it. So starting on YouTube gave me something to be excited about every day, right? So the biggest difference, I would say, for anyone thinking about doing YouTube than just doing a regular old 9-to-5 job is, at least for me, when I started making my first dollar, even less than $1 of AdSense, like when my channel got monetized, I think my first day I made like 50 cents or like 57 cents or something. That 57 cents felt better than like a $12,000 commission check from my sales job, which is crazy because it probably took me months to close that deal that paid me 12 grand. But on YouTube, it took me almost a year to get to the point where I was monetized and made 50 cents for a whole day. 50 cents. I was so excited. So that's a big thing about YouTube. It is so fulfilling, at least for me. The idea that I get to wake up every day, and to an extent, work when I want, how I want, is amazing, right? Like, there are always situations when you're in a job and you're being asked to do something that you might not believe in, or to say something or behave in a certain way that doesn't align with how you actually feel or the way that you think things could be done best. That happens a lot, right? In a lot of different jobs. Since becoming a YouTuber, I kind of call the shots. I get to make the content I want to make. I get to make it how I want to make it. Obviously, like, I try to make content that people want to see, but there's just a level of freedom there that's awesome. It's amazing. Totally like +1 for YouTube as a career when it comes to freedom and fulfillment. And with that, like, it is fulfilling. Like, when you create something yourself, you created it, you wrote the script, you thought of the idea, and you put it out, it's the best feeling when it takes off. But at the same time, on the flip side, it's also a absolutely terrible feeling if you spend 20 hours, 30 hours creating a video that you think should be amazing. You think it's gonna kill. You think people are gonna love it. And on YouTube analytics, you see that dreaded 10 out of 10. Like it's your worst performing video out of your last 10 videos. That is the flip side of YouTube, where that can be soul sucking, right? But, you know, first world problems, I'll still say that getting a 10 out of 10 video, I would take that any day of the week versus going to a job I'm over and doing something that just is, you know, not what I want to do. Like there's nothing worse, and I know a lot of you probably feel this, than being in a job that you are mentally and physically over, right? There's nothing more soul-sucking. There's nothing more tiring. There's nothing more monotonous. Like I've been in this position where, you know, let's say I'm planning on quitting a job. The last month, or even just the 2-week notice period after you officially quit, it's like you're a zombie. You don't want to be there. There's nothing that excites you. You hate it. It's boring. You just don't want to be there. I can say with full honesty that since starting YouTube, there has not been a single day where I have not been motivated. I have not jumped out of bed, either checked my YouTube analytics, started writing a script idea that I thought of in a dream or in the shower or from watching another video. There's just always something that I'm thinking about that I want to do with the channel, that, you know, a comment that someone left me that made me really excited to, you know, make a follow-up or to respond or to look into it and do some research. It is so great and so fulfilling from that perspective. And from a money perspective, you know, full disclosure, it can be great, but it can also be not so great. Like I'll give you an example. November 2022 was my best month of YouTube AdSense up until that period. I think I made like $7,000 or like $7,500 just in money from YouTube AdSense. That is crazy to me. Like I had started the channel like 3 years prior. To make almost $10,000 just from passive income from YouTube ads was nuts. But then 2 months later, January 2023, coincidentally the month I quit my job, something happened. I think it was the invalid traffic situation. My revenue dropped to like $2,000. Then it bounced back. And then 2 months ago, the invalid traffic situation happened again on YouTube, and I was having days for 12 days straight where I was making like $20 a day, $30 a day. That was insanely stressful. And that's kind of part of what I wanted to talk about in this video. I love YouTube. I'm going to ride this wave as long as I can, as long as I can keep creating content that actually is worthwhile for people to watch. But it can be stressful when you're relying on a platform like YouTube to make money, because you could be in a situation where you're making some of your best videos ever that should perform really well, or at least you think they should perform really well, and for some reason, whether it's a bug in YouTube's system or global economic events that are causing advertisers to pay less to ads, you just stop making money for a while, or your earning is greatly reduced. And that happens, right? But that's why, you know, if you're someone who's considering YouTube, I would highly recommend that you view AdSense as kind of a nice to have, right? Like for me, I've been pretty fortunate that at least for my main channel, Mike Nardi, it's got like 140 something thousand subscribers at this point. On that channel, I've been graced with like some pretty high RPM and CPM rates. Like advertisers typically pay quite a bit of money on videos on that channel. Like I think my average CPM is like $35 during an average period, and I've seen it go all the way up to like $60 or $70 at times. That's a lot of money for YouTube. That's a lot of money in YouTube terms. Like that means that I'm getting paid like between $15 and like $30 or $40 per 1,000 views, which is high. Like a lot of big channels, like I think like a Mr. Beast type channel probably makes like a $2 RPM or a $4 RPM. can get really low. In gaming channels, even less. I've heard certain gaming channels are like in the cents, like 45 cents or $1 RPM. So I've been lucky that, you know, YouTube revenue has been a big chunk of my earnings, but I've experienced firsthand recently with this whole invalid traffic thing that I don't want it to be that way forever. So like, obviously, you know, I have a focus on affiliate marketing. Like in every video, pretty much, I have certain companies that I really believe in, like Skillshare is in every video description. And occasionally I'll partner with different brands that I think fit the audience really well. Affiliate marketing is great, can make you quite a bit of money. I think I average like $300 every month passively from affiliate marketing. That's amazing. But then like, you got to diversify even further. So recently, like, I've never been one who wants to be, I want my content to be free, right? I haven't thought about creating a course up until recently because I didn't think that I could offer more value in a course than I could just in a regular YouTube video until now. So like, to give you an example, a couple months ago, this invalid traffic thing happened. I had been mulling on the idea of a book, a copywriting prompts book to help people study and practice after they've taken one of my free copywriting courses on YouTube. Wrote this book, edited it, formatted it, published it on Amazon KDP, selling it for like $5 for ebook, $11.99 for paperback, whatever. Great. Every time someone buys one, I make like, you know, $1 or $2 for Kindle and like maybe $5 for paperback. It's not a crazy amount of money, but it was a way that I could continue offering value to my audience and also create another income stream. And it's been great. Every day for the last like month and a half that it's been out, I've been averaging like between $2 and $5 of extra revenue, which is awesome. And it's cool to think that people are buying this like book that I created and it's actually a helpful workbook for them. So that's another way. Then there's sponsorships, right? So that's a big part of the whole YouTube thing. And I've done a lot of sponsorships with a lot of different companies. And the thing that I've learned is this. Sponsorships can be great. Like I've had months where I had like 15 or 20 grand worth of revenue coming in just from sponsored videos, which is crazy to think about. Like that people are paying between $1,500 and $7,000 per video on a channel with just over 100,000 subscribers. It's nuts. I feel like I'm like at times I feel like I'm a TV station selling ad spots, and that's essentially what you are at times. So yeah, sponsorships are important, but one word of advice I would give you guys is you'll find that in the early days, people reach out to you for sponsorships, maybe from a small startup or small company, and the people reaching out to you aren't that experienced. So they really don't know what they don't know. And just from like a guy who has a sales and marketing background from my career, I can tell you that in order for someone to buy something from seeing a piece of marketing, typically they need to see that piece of marketing, like that brand, I think it's like between 9 and 14 times, right? That's how long it takes for it to like get planted in their brain. They remember your name, they remember your brand, and eventually maybe they buy your product. A lot of like new marketers or new affiliate marketing coordinators or managers who reach out to you don't know this. And they don't know how to push back internally, and they're given a budget for a project, and the way they think is they want to reach out to you, the YouTuber, and hire you to make one video that mentions their product. For you, and I've done this, you get excited, you're like, oh my God, they're gonna pay me $2,000 for one video. I just have to mention them for like 30 to 60 seconds. That's awesome, right? And it is awesome. But for you to be successful and for you to have a lot of money coming in from sponsors, you want them to keep hiring you. You want them to see results in the money they're spending with you. You want the ads that they're paying for in your videos to generate them a lot of money so that they say, hey, you know, this person's YouTube channel made us X amount of dollars. We need to keep advertising there. That's what you want, because how I just mentioned that you don't want to rely on AdSense too much. Sponsorships are probably the best way to pad your bottom line to give you a recurring flow of revenue. So what you want to do, and this is something that I've recently started leaning more into, is instead of negotiating really high prices for single videos, position multiple videos as a better option for them and you, right? So you might make less per video, but if you say, hey, instead of spending 10 grand with me on one video, spend 30 grand with me. We'll do videos over a 3-month period. You'll get like 10 or 15 mentions. And that way you'll actually get better results. Like, you as a company, you will probably get more conversions because you are now appearing in more of my videos, meaning you have more chances of your ad appearing in a video that has a chance to go viral, which is what they want, right? Like, it's very possible someone pays you 10 grand, you make a whole high production value video, you're mentioning their product, there's the affiliate link to the website, you put the logo on the thumbnail, all this stuff, and for whatever reason, that video doesn't perform well, right? Sure, you got paid, whatever, good for you, but let's say the video only gets 1,000 views or 200 views or, you know, whatever. Like, let's say they're expecting 50,000 views and it gets 10,000 views. 10,000 views is not a little amount of views, but you didn't accomplish what they were after. And now they're probably not going to hire you again, because the way they look at it is like, hey, we did project X with Mike's channel. We spent 10 grand and we only brought in 5 grand. Well, that's a negative ROI. If instead of that, you found a way to negotiate a deal where they're getting more ad mentions, you know, maybe for a lower cost per ad mention in your video, like per insertion, but you're getting more money and you're getting, you know, more of a consistent flow of revenue, that's going to help both of you in the long run, because you as a creator, now you're locking up money for multiple months, which is really important because it helps you forecast and budget for your business. When you have when you can forecast how much cash flow you're going to have coming in, you're going to know what you need to do to pay your expenses. You're going to know what you need to do to pay your bills. You're going to know you have money coming in. You're going to know you're not going to miss payments. You're going to be able to invest in the growth of your business. You're going to be able to predict when you can buy new equipment. Overall, it's just a better situation to have a predictable flow of income coming in over a longer period of time. And then, like I mentioned, it's better for the advertiser too, because if you're giving them more chances to latch on to a potentially viral video on your channel, they have a better chance of seeing results. And if they see results in the short term, that means you, my friend, are going to see a lot more results in the long term, which could mean, you know, 12-month, 24-month, or just, you know, 3-6 month longer term sponsorship agreements where you've gotten a company to commit to paying you X amount of dollars for X amount of months, regardless of how an individual video performs, because you're spreading them out over a bunch of videos. So that's something really important that I've been really honing in on. Like, I watch a lot of big YouTubers who've been in the game for a while. Like, I've only been doing it for about 4 years, and that's something that they really preach, is diversifying the ways you're making money. And sponsorships is a big way, but you need to be smart about it. And the way to be smart about it, I think, is to negotiate deals that actually make the most sense for both you and the sponsor. And it's not always about just getting the most amount of money for a single video and being done with it. You really want to make sure that you're doing something that you think will actually help them get results and also protect your best interests as well. So yeah, well, what have we talked about so far? What else do I want to cover? So YouTube is awesome. I love doing it. It's so fulfilling. It's so exciting. It gets me excited every day. It's something I love doing, and earning money from YouTube is just great. We've talked about kind of AdSense and making money and affiliates and sponsorship. That's all great. Oh, courses. So yeah, so that's another thing that I've been battling with over the years, because, you know, I've always been the person who I don't appreciate, or I'm not really into all those $997 courses, $10,000 in value, just for $1,000, like all of those types of ads. Like, I feel like that's kind of predatory, and that's one of the reasons I haven't really sold a course on my main channel yet. I'm not against courses. Like, I do recommend Skillshare all the time, and there's like a Salesforce course on Coursera I really like. But for myself, I've always kind of strayed away from it and gone this whole freemium model of giving my content for free and then making ad revenue and affiliate revenue passively, because I don't want to rip people off, right? But recently I've been thinking a lot about, the ways that I'm teaching people certain things, right? So like on my main channel, I make a lot of videos about copywriting and making money online and freelancing. On this channel, I make videos about YouTube, some photography stuff, but mostly YouTube. In a YouTube video or a series of YouTube videos, it is kind of tough to structure learning in a way where you can teach people a really complicated topic. Not just complicated from a technical perspective, but complicated in the sense that it might take months and months of practice and development and studying to build that skill set. Basically what I'm saying is there's a lot of things, like for example copywriting or freelancing, where I can't just make one video and teach people everything, because a big part of my teaching style is here's what you want to do, here's how to do it. Now you need to go spend a month doing it. I find that if you do something like that in a YouTube video, what's going to happen is that person's going to watch that video. Maybe they stop watching and go do the practice for a month. Maybe they don't. But there's a very high chance that they forget about the video, or they don't know how to find it again, or they didn't bookmark it, and they never come back to it, and they're never able to progress. So recently, like an avenue I've been looking at that kind of goes hand in hand with monetizing YouTube is creating a structured course, kind of Netflix style, where it's a monthly subscription, even Coursera style we can call it. Not insanely expensive, like maybe like 20 bucks a month or something like that. But a course where someone has to pay money to do. There's quizzes, there's lessons, and there's recommended study periods people need to follow. And I feel like that there's a point where that makes sense, because maybe someone signs up, they pay $20 for their first month, they realize it's not for them, they cancel. They're gone. You made 20 bucks, no harm, no foul, they move on, whatever. But if someone is serious about learning and they want to learn something that might take them 4 months, they're paying you $20 a month for 4 months. It's 80 bucks, right? That's not an insane amount of money. Like, sure, like different places in the world, $80 is $80. It can mean a lot more for some people than others. But you're not charging them $997, right? And what you're able to do now, if they're paying you $20 a month for this course that they've bought into, they want to do it, they're committing the time, they now have money on the line, where that's a financial motivator for them to actually follow the practice exercises. So a course that might be a 50-hour course, that's almost impossible to build effectively on YouTube, because you're gonna have to build all these parts, and then what if the YouTube algorithm doesn't recommend the next part in the suggested videos, and maybe they don't follow the playlist for all the videos. It's just like, it's messier. By doing a course, you can structure a big amount of content in a very clean, linear way, where you lay everything out in a way that, if people follow, they'll have an easier time learning. That makes sense to me. And that's something I'm exploring now at this stage in the game. So I've been doing YouTube for probably 4.5 years. And I'm just now considering that, because I feel like I'm now at the point where I've created so much content, and I'm going to continue creating so much content, that I'm realizing this, that, I've tried to do the longer form courses, I've tried to do multiple series. It's hard to string people along to follow multiple videos in sequence on YouTube in a course format, because YouTube is just not built that way. It's not a LMS. LMS stands for Learning Management System. It's not a platform designed to necessarily lay out big, complicated, long courses effectively. Like how-tos, great. YouTube tutorials, great. 40-minute courses that are one video, awesome. One of my best videos has almost 2 million views. It's a 40-minute copywriting course, great. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with the monetization thing. I'm exploring all options. AdSense is a great, nice to have, but I wouldn't rely on it. And overall, YouTube has been awesome. So I kind of have spent this video talking about how you can make money on YouTube. But yeah, like if you're considering doing it, the number one piece of advice I have for you based on this video is I give it a shining recommendation. It's awesome. It's great. I love it. I wouldn't change my experience progressing through YouTube for anything. But what I will say is if you're thinking about doing it, don't get hung up on the money or the how to make money or the, ways you can make the most money right away. Not important at all at this stage. If you have never turned on a camera or recorded on your phone and edited a video with the intention of posting it to YouTube, you are miles away from ever needing to worry about how you're going to make money. Because the reality is, like for me, it took me 7 months of posting at least one video a week and obsessing over improving my craft as a video creator. It's going to take time to get to the point where you're monetizable, and that's not because YouTube monetization requirements are so high. It's because it takes time to get good at creating videos that people actually want to watch, right? It's going to take you a lot of time to figure out what types of videos you want to make, because when you're starting out, you might have an idea that serves a topic that people do want to watch, but you might realize you're a terrible person for making that type of video. Or you might realize that the type of video you love making is the type of video that nobody wants to watch, and you need to tweak your strategy, or maybe come to terms with the fact that your passion project or the videos you love making most are not the types of videos that people love watching most. It takes time. And then on top of just learning how to make great videos and finding great topics, there's also this element of learning SEO. That's very important, so that your videos actually show up in search. Learning how to make a great thumbnail is probably the hardest, most lucrative skill set on YouTube, because the reality is, you can have the best video in the world, if nobody's choosing to click that thumbnail, you're toast. And it takes a lot of time to learn how to design great thumbnails, and you might say, oh, Mike, I'll just hire someone on Fiverr. Yeah, you could totally hire someone on Fiverr who's good at making thumbnails, but the reality is, at least what I've learned, is the trends of the types of thumbnails that people are posting on YouTube change, sometimes very quickly. Sometimes I'll notice that a video I'm making on a certain topic, everyone's making thumbnails that look one way one week, and then the next week they're totally different, and it's the totally different thumbnails that are now getting all the clicks. It's such a game of it's a science experiment that you're constantly going through, even with the titles too, right? Like, you got to learn how to write a good title, just like you got to learn how to write a good thumbnail. And that might mean getting out of your comfort zone. Sometimes you want a title that's very descriptive, that matches what someone's going to type into search. But sometimes you would want a title that's mysterious, like, you're not going to believe this, like a classic clickbait type title, or I'm quitting YouTube is one you see all the time. That one's way overdone. But it's a game, it's an art, it's a science. You got to figure out. So yeah, we started this video with like all the monetization and making money stuff, and then we've talked about thumbnails and actually learning how to be a YouTuber. But the point is, you do have to just start. There's a point where you just have to just start. As Think Media, Sean Cannell famously says, just hit record. There is going to be a learning curve for you, whether that's a week, a month, a year, 10 years. That depends on you, but you just need to start. My advice, like I tell all my friends who I'm trying to push into starting YouTube channels, is it can actually change your life. It might actually give you a new skill set and passion that you never thought you had. I highly recommend you do it if you have the time and the resources to do it, because it is awesome. Anyways, this is kind of what I've learned since starting as a full-time YouTuber type video, kind of a car rant. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. Cheers.